Hey guys, it's Misa, and I wanted to go over how to add text personalization in one of these remembrance frames that I've just put out so that you can personalize it and print it on your glowforge or similar laser cutter. So there's in this pack there is a cardinal, a butterfly, and a sailboat, and they all are made up of similar components. You'll have a backer layer here. You'll have a kind of a mid layer which will have this really pretty cutout design, and then also a solid space for you to add some personalization. um, I've included one that has this in loving memory and this little kind of separation twill, and then one that's just a blank. There's no, you could personalize it for a birthday or whatever you'd like. It doesn't have to be a remembrance um, sentiment. So, and then there's also this top frame layer, which is a mix of the cut, which is in red all across the board here, and then scoring these little black details across the frame. You're going to be setting that to high quality score in your glowforge. This in loving memory will import as engrave, excuse me. So all of the files have a very similar layout. And so again, the red is cut, the black here is score, and then the words here are going to be engrave. The score will import into your glowforge as cut. You just need to move it over to score and then select the high quality instead of the draft. Okay, so what we're going to do here, I'm going to zoom in. And I just want to show you how to add the text personalization in Illustrator. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the type tool. All right, and essentially in any outside program, you're just going to be adding some text with that program's type tool, and then you're going to have to convert it to a vector shape. And so I'm going to show you how to do that in Illustrator. The language in Inkscape is going to be a little bit different. I think that one's object to path, where this one is we're going to create outlines. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I think in my examples I used feather. I got that on fontbundles.com for my text, and it was really pretty. So let's do Dale. All right, now I'm going to go up to the selection tool so I can select this, holding down Shift to lock my proportions. I'm going to drag it out, make it much larger because we want that to really stand out. Okay, now I'm going to grab another type toolbox, little click underneath. Oops. Come on, you can do it. And I think I'm going to choose times for the date. Okay, back up to direct selection. I'm going to move that right in the middle-ish. We'll center them in a second. I do really like, I hit T for type tool. I really do like spaces on either side of my hyphen. So I'm going to add that in. Cool. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to take my selection tool and I'm just going to drag it through everything. What I've done here for you is already grouped, so you'll just grab that and your text. You can go over to your align. Mine's in my properties window, and I'm going to go ahead and horizontal align it. And I think that looks just fine. Scoot that down just a tad with my arrow keys. Okay, so now I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to pull this frame layer over. I'll move it down a little bit. There we go. Okay, as you can see, this top frame layer, you're going to have one of these little pine tufts. It's going to cover up part of your frame, and you don't want your engraving to end up behind it. So this is just what I do to make sure that I get that right every time. So I just overlap them. If I was going to be adding the text in the glowforge user interface, I would do the same thing. I would just pull this over and do my text, and then I would pull this back over to where I want it to print on the wood. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in here. All right, I'm going to grab my type tool. I'm going to click. All right, so in the Etsy listing, I've just included the sample poems for you to cut and copy. So I am just going to, I've already got it copied, so I'm just going to hit Command V and I'm going to paste it. Okay, so this is just text so far, nothing's vectorized. All right, I like it. I've got my paragraph window here. I liked the text aligned center, so that aligns it in the middle instead of the left alignment. Okay, and it came in as times, so you could, oops, come on, select it all, and then you could change your font here and just see what you like. So I think again in my sample, I used Feather again, so you could do that. And I'm gonna do a script font so I can make sure that I show you all the different things we need to do. Okay, so again, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. I'm gonna drag my selection tool through everything and go ahead and make sure it is horizontally aligned, or vertically aligned, excuse me. Okay, so I think that that's a good place to put it. I'm going to hold Shift, resize it a little bit bigger. So if I wanted it down here, right, it would get covered up. When I printed it, this little pine tuft would cover up always there, or always here. So I don't want to do that. I guess I could just do it this way. So I'm going to shrink it down a little bit. Okay, I think that's a good size and a good placement. Again, dragging through the center to select everything, aligning horizontally. Okay. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and pull the cardinal out of the way because my text is where I would like it. Okay, the next thing I need to do is I'm going to select each group of text, and I'm going to go over here, quick actions. I've got create outlines. So I'm going to convert, you can see it there on the screen, convert the selected text to a path. So in Inkscape, it would probably be object to path. All right, and so I'm going to zoom in here, and that has created every single letter into its own text vector. The problem is that you can see the little overlap lines. So what you're going to need to do is go ahead and click Unite to turn in, like anything that's overlapping, turn it into one shape. So hit that, and you can see all the little overlap lines have gone away, and each word is its own kind of text vector shape. Okay, I'm going to go over to Dale here, create outlines, again, Pathfinder Unite, and then over here to this, the dates, create outlines, and because there's no overlapping, I don't need to unite anything. Okay. So I would just go ahead and, so once it's in, you can't go back and change the type because it's no longer text, it's shapes. So you'll just want to make sure you proofread everything before you go ahead and convert it to a vector and create outlines. Otherwise, you have to just delete it and insert the text again and start the process over. But you would just go ahead and file, save as, and then upload it to your glowforge. And again, this should all set up as text, as engrave when you upload it. I've, just to go over this again, I've just, to make sure that it reads it as engrave, I always just get rid of the stroke and just add a fill. And that will make sure your glowforge understands it as an engravable object and doesn't try to cut it. And again, don't forget to set these little details to high quality score and you should be good to go. Again, these come in at, I think, 5.8 inches by 7.25 inches. So you will want to size up but not size down. This will fit on one sheet of wood and that's great. And then you can of course make it bigger and use multiple sizes of wood. If you are using Inkscape to do this, just keep in mind it will import smaller. Everything will be proportional, but you'll need to bump it back up to the 5.8 by 7.25 to just make sure all your little pine needles don't turn into crispy bits. Okay, thanks everyone, and I'll talk to you later.